Boom! It's on, and today's the 10 at 10.
Guys, this is the 10 at 10 for November 2nd of 2023. It's almost into fall. It is a great time to plant. Our upcoming open house is just days away.
Y'all, November 4th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Be here because we got cool plants, cool people. You'll want to be there. It's an awesome time just hanging out, chilling, and checking out Japanese maples.
We're going to have some phenomenal plants. If you're interested in shooting a top 5, guys, hit us up. I know we're already got several people committed to shooting top 5s. We love to hear from people, and that's a fun thing to do because it's kind of like a plant show that's really about people as well. We love to showcase our customers and just talk to people, talk to interesting, unique people, finding out what they like most in the Japanese maple world.
Now, if you're in town the night before, check out the MrMaple Friends group because we'll be posting about dinner the night before where people can come together, talk about plants. But when the actual open house happens, you want to be here at 8 a.m. because we got cool plants, tons of cool plants. Not everything's in high number, but you can come in and check out all these amazing trees.
There's some cool ones here on the table. Let's get into it. First up here, this is what they called Tim back in the basketball days. This was his hooping nickname, Daisy White.
Daisy White. I was anything but a daisy, but I tell you, when you see me in those short sleeves and the farmer's tan that's white all the way down here, I definitely look pretty white, sometimes clear. But Daisy White, this is an evergreen conifer that has a conical shape and it puts on white new growth.
Oh, this thing is beautiful, y'all. It's a really fun plant. We do tend to sell out of these pretty quickly. Daisy White really brings it, especially in that spring garden. That new growth shows out so much. You get a white little conifer going on in the garden, which contrasts with everything. So you put this next to your blues, and you're really going to get some fun shades. You know, I'd like to pair this with something like baby blue ice. You got that white and blue going on there together. It really shows the full spectrum of some of the color changes that conifers can go through.
Yeah, and the Picea glaucas, they can go to zone 3. Sometimes people say zone 2. Excellent cold hardy conifer. It can go much colder than many of your Japanese maples, but it can go all the way to zone 8. So you can put this in a lot of other places in the garden. Love Daisy White, small, compact, and colorful.
Had to bring that one back from your hooping days, bro.
All right, down here we got Acer Shirosawinum Sensu.
Ah, Sensu brings it. Another Talon Buckholz introduction. This one is a hybrid Shirosawinum palmatum, likely one of Jim Baggett's as well. You know, Jim Baggett was a breeder that we were friends with that did a lot of early work on Shirosawinum palmatum hybrids. We got to go and meet him before he passed. Really interesting guy. Created some just absolute monsters, right? Mad scientists so many cool plants he had hybridized.
And I talked with Talon, and Talon said, you know, I don't know the exact code names, but we have seen JB50, and it appears to be the same plant as Acer Shirosawinum Sensu. JB50 was found as a seedling from Acer Shirosawinum palmatifolium. We believe that to be Acer Shirosawinum Sensu, that is also found from palmatifolium. This is a hybrid Acer Shirosawinum, deeply divided foliage. It gives you some really nice seeds on it too, so you can look through this and maybe find stuff like kawaii and green snowflake, some of those lace leaf forms of Acer Shirosawinum.
I've had this one creeping into a lot of top 5s. It's becoming a lot of people's favorite. Really showing that spring garden. You get some malting colors, you get great fall colors, you get more of a Matsumura style Acer Shirosawinum too, so a little bit different leaf shape going on, and always highly sought after for its elegant overall appearance.
Now the leaf itself looks like a Japanese fan, which makes this tree really popular, especially when this puts on coral pink new growth in the spring, go into an emerald green later in the summer, but the fall colors are outrageous on Sensu like many of the Acer Shirosawinums.
You want to switch down here?
Sure. Guys, down here, we're bringing the Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight rises, y'all. Great plant. We laugh. We did a podcast where we talked about the Nugos, and Tal said, you know, if I knew it had to do with all that Batman BS, I probably wouldn't have named it that. So he probably heard us geeking out a little too much. Us comic book geeks and tree geeks love the crossover. Acer palmatum Dark Knight, one of the darkest of the Nugos. So you get that dark reticulated veining and just a showy plant.
So the Dark Knight returns at 10 a.m. today. Make sure you jump on it fast. Many of our trees sell out fairly quickly. So make sure you finish the checkout process, and we've got a tree saved with your name on it. Just because you add it to cart doesn't mean it saves it for you. But Dark Knight, this is a reticulated style in that new ghost fashion. This is one of those trees that gives you some of those veins in the leaf that are really prominent. Really nice purple colors on this. An awesome tree to add in the garden.
Don't be a joker, get a Dark Knight for your garden.
All right, guys. Next, we've got Pinus Wallachiniana Zabrina.
Wallachiniana. I love those long needles on Waltuniana. Isn't that crazy? Those are so funky. This is a variegated pine. Always brings it color interest wise, guys. This one, I think the long needles are really what stand out to me though. It almost gives it like a lace leaf looking quality. It gives it a big, open, airy texture in the garden, and it just looks super crazy.
Almost fluffy-like.
Right.
And it's one of those plants that has that animal-like characteristic in the garden where the tree seems alive. The Pinus waltunianas are amazing. Zebrina brings that with some variegation on the foliage as well.
Plant this next to your Dark Knight. That'd be awesome in every single season.
Yeah, killer plant you need to use in the garden. This is a tree, again, that'll sell out really quickly. Love what Zebrina does though out there in the landscape. They've got some really nice ones at the Brooklyn Botanical Garden. We went and visited there. And it's one of those plants that I just grew to love more and more.
You could almost get some growth on this where the needles kind of cup down, almost giving it a weeping look, but it's just a showy overall plant. I mean, I really focus on that length of needle. That's just really what makes this one so interesting to me. And just showy overall. The variegation can't be missed as either. It makes it a big splash.
Guys, coming up next, we've got OG Sumagaki.
It's the OG of Sumagakis. This one's great. You don't see this one a lot of places besides Buckholtz Nursery. We've got several stocks this we were saving. I'll actually be able to make some of those available now since we've got that. An amazing plant. This one has a more flat leaf with that purple border to it.
Now, often in Japan, if you go to Japan, there's, Kansai Akagarasu. There's different regions have their own version of a similar style plant. And this one is the OG Sumagaki. Its leaf is a little more round, but you still get those finger-like nails where you get the red border on the selection.
Sounds like we're saying OG like original gangster, but it's OG-I. So it actually is the OG. It's not the OG of Sumagakis, but it's the OG Sumagaki.
Yeah, so if you go to Japan too, like you'll find like Koto no Ito, but you'll find Kansai Koto no Ito. You may find different regions have their different forms. And this one is a Sumagaki that's really unique and different. Again,
almost a little more Emoenum style leaf.
It is.
And a little bit more just upright. It's a little bit faster growing than Sumagaki for us. A little bit more upright of a version as well. Doesn't get quite as wide. And I love that leaf color, especially in the early spring. You get that splash painted nail on this one. A little more unique. If you're growing Sumagaki, I definitely recommend this one as well. I think it has a lot of great characteristics.
And this one goes yellows, oranges, and reds in the fall. So a killer Sumagaki, a little more sun tolerant than your typical Sumagaki.
All right, what do we get next over there, Tim?
Well, we got Right Fred, said Tim.
Right said Fred. That'd be like the, I'm too sexy for, remember that song of the 90s? That's what I think of when I hear this. I'm too sexy for this tree. All right, Right Fred, an amazing tree, not Right said Fred. A dark purple form of those new ghosts. Now, we didn't include it in our new ghost podcast because we said it wasn't too widely distributed. Guys, we're fixing all that. We're bringing that one to the 10 at 10. We'll be offering any of Talon Buckholtz introductions going forward. And Right Fred, it's got a lot to offer.
Yeah, it's not too sexy for your garden. You should plant one of these. This one has a really nice purple color with reticulation.
It might be too sexy for your garden. It depends on your garden.
This tree has that purple reticulation where you see the veins of the leaf, some nice purple color. It has more of that Jubilee style shape where it's a little bit shorter and denser. But Right Fred, this tree can give you some nice shades of oranges and reds in the fall. Pretty awesome, newer selection by Talon Buckholtz.
Hey, shout out to Colby Clark. Before we bought Buckholtz Nursery, he was literally going to send me some soundwood on this one. A customer that had it. It was only being sold locally and like regionally, so Talon hadn't really got it out there a lot. And he was like, hey man, you want some soundwood on this one? So he messaged me after we did the announcement. He said, I think you're probably good on the soundwood now. Like, yeah, I'm good on the soundwood. But we're going to be bringing this and Fred's Wild Dream, which are two of those newer ones. Be looking for Right Fred today at the 10 at 10. One of the first times this one's been offered, mail order. All right, man. We got the mean green.
Green Trumpenberg.
Green Trumpenberg. Mean by God Gene. All right, Green Trumpenberg, amazing plant. This one is going to have some Shirum influences as well. I actually think this one pairs better with Peve Starfish than Trumpenberg because of that dwarf habit to it.
It is. It's much slower growing than your typical Trumpenberg. I mean, if you named it Green Starfish, I think people would jump on it a little bit quicker.
It fits Peve Starfish shape even better than Trumpenberg.
It really does. And this one goes to really nice shades of yellow in the fall, where Peve Starfish and Trumpenberg go to red in the fall. It is slow growing. Give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun. This one will reach about 6 foot in 10 years.
So that growth rate is much more like Peve Starfish, still that cupping, but imagine that pink red of Peve Starfish next to this neon yellow that you get on Green Trumpenberg. Really fun plant with that convex little hand-shaped leaf to it. Much more compact than Trumpenberg. Really fun plant. They're rarely offered. Kind of one that's been forgotten a little bit in the trade. I see that one over there in your hand has a little bit of seed on it right now. I might need to snatch that up before it ships out. An amazing dwarf Japanese maple coming back here to the 10 at 10.
Yours does too, man.
Ooh, what? Okay, we might need to check these out, man.
So there will be some green Trumbergs that are seedless shipping out for the 10 at 10.
Guys, this one ain't gonna last long. This one's gonna sell out pretty quickly. Rarely offered here on MrMaple. In fact, this is the first time. We've got Acer Palmatum Marlo.
Y'all, Marlo leaves out in the spring as a bright pink. It's a butterfly type. It's got a lot of sickle leaves, but it's one of the smaller foliage of those butterfly types.
This one leaves out neon pink. And when I mean neon pink, it is neon pink. I first saw this one walking around Esvel Plantinium in Holland, and I mean, I was just weak in the knees. This thing was in fall color. It was dark red on pink, and it's just so showy. It's an incredible dwarf compact plant. Now, I'll let people know this one is a little trickier to grow than butterfly. It's not quite Taylor, but it's in that more finicky category. I would say in the mid-tier, a little higher up than Taylor on that category, but it is a contemporary of that.
Give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun and good drainage. This thing can have so much variegation that if you have it in full sun, it may struggle a little bit. If you give it good drainage as well, you're gonna have a tree that's gonna have a better chance of doing well out in landscape and garden.
I would say much like Snow Kitten, this is one you don't want to be overwatering. So you don't want those ones standing in water, getting too much. You know, limit its water amount. They are in regular greenhouse conditions here for us, and they do great, but make sure it's not one that's getting too saturated. That's one of the keys there, letting it dry out well in between. This one's great in the container or in the ground. Gonna work zones 5 through 9, and just a showstopper.
All right, guys, next we've got Acer Palmatum Goshiki Kotohime as a rooted cutting. We also are offering them as grafts today as well.
Guys, those rooted cuttings won't last long. Bonsai people are always begging for rooted cuttings, so we're bringing some back that way. You know, I love this plant. Kind of reminds me a little bit of coral, like undersea coral. It has that coral kind of quality to it. I used to scuba dive, and it kind of has a little bit of that. Pair this with something like Kurohime, you can have your own little reef going on.
I get the texture you're going with.
Yeah.
It really adds a unique texture in the landscape and garden. It has like that tightly layering habit, like you'd think of almost like a Makawi Etabusa. It's got a leaf similar to like a Makawa or Ojishi, but it's a little more flat with a little bit of curl downward. It gives a unique texture out there in the garden. Really, it's an awesome plant all the way around. If you're gonna use this for bonsai, or if you're just gonna put it out there in the garden and enjoy a dwarf Japanese maple, this is a tree you should really have in your garden.
You should build an octopus's garden. You can play the Beatles and be under the sea in an octopus's garden. Have you a Goshiki Kotohime. Now this one is awesome for bonsai for obvious reasons. Tiny foliage, great fall color, golden yellows to reds, late, some oranges going on there as well. Brings it in every single season. Durable, heat tolerant, and just a showstopper. This one's gonna be kind of very sun tolerant as well, so it's gonna work up to zone 8 in the sun, and the tree itself is gonna work zones 5 through 9.
Yeah, really cool plant. Love that tree.
All right, next up we got Acer Bajurion on Bling Bling, y'all.
Bling
This one was
Bling.
actually named by Lil Wayne.
This is actually named by us here at MrMaple. This is a chance seedling that's found by one of our friends. And this leaves out in the springtime as just a bright lemon golden yellow.
Was that friend in Cash Money Millionaires back in the day?
Cash money.
All right, we got Bling Bling, y'all. This one is neon yellow. Yeah, we could throw some leaves. This one is neon yellow in the early spring. Love that color pattern. One of the brightest of all, making it one of the blingiest of all maples as well. Now, this is a Trident maple, so you're gonna get that elongated Trident style foliage. Guys, this one is another great candidate for bonsai. Bling Bling will give you an intense yellow bonsai in the spring, but all that durability that you love with Trident maples.
Now, after the intense yellow, it does go to a green. In the fall, you can get some really nice shades of yellows and oranges on this Trident maple as well. Awesome tree to add in the landscape. Pair this out there with anything that gives you some of those reds in the spring, like a DeSojo, and you have extremely different contrasting colors. Throw a Reuben or something like a coral pink out there to really add to those spring interest flowering plants, and you're gonna have some trees that really rock out your garden.
Bling Bling, y'all.
So y'all, that's 10 of the 20 trees getting listed today. Check out your email for the other 10, or go to MrMaple today at 10 a.m. You'll see the other 10 getting listed. Check out fast. We really appreciate y'all.
Guys, if you love what we do here on the MrMaple channel, feel free to go to Google and leave us a 5-star review, either for our channel or for the services we provide, especially if you enjoy buying Japanese maples through us. We've got some of the most amazing customers. You guys have gave us one of the best years ever in our entire business. We're able to purchase Buckholz this year, and as we're getting into November, we're starting to close out on the year. Our last ever open house is coming up soon, y'all. It's gonna be November 4th, so don't miss that. It's our last one of the season, at least until March. So we'll be back next year, maybe May. We haven't really decided on the first spring one, but it'll be our last one of 2023. Don't miss it. We're going out with a bang. I bet you Doug's already standing at the gate right now by the time you're watching this. Be ready here from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on November 4th. We hope to blow your mind that day with some of the offerings.
Cool people, cool plants. What more could you ask for? Really appreciate y'all today. We really appreciate our international viewers. We know you can't shop with us, but you love hearing cool plants. You know, if you've never got involved in the live chat, we've got a ton of awesome people in the live chat, and those same people are often involved in the Mr. Maple Friends group on Facebook. Go check that out as well.
Guys, we really appreciate your support too. We're a completely independent brand here, Mr. Maple. We're not beholden to any big brands, any of the pot colors, anything. We just talk about what we want to talk about, and we appreciate you guys supporting that and being part of it. And because of that, we're allowed to give our honest opinions on every single thing we offer. And if we don't like something, we just don't do it. That's kind of how it works here at Mr. Maple. And that's all because of you guys. We appreciate that autonomy.
Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.